All right, welcome everybody. Just hit that on there. Let's call the meeting to order. It's Wednesday, March 20th of the Mansfield Downtown Partnership Finance and Growth Committee meeting. May I ask Cynthia, has there been any public comment that we need to address?
No public comment.
All right, so with that being said, first agenda here is the approval of the Finance and Growth Committee meeting minutes from December 18th. 2023, which you kindly attached and sent to us. So did everybody have the opportunity to pretty much cruise through that? And if so, if I could get a motion?
I would make a motion to approve the minutes of December 18th, right? 2023?
Yep, you got it.
I'll second.
Thanks, Shmeem. All those in favor? Sweet.
Aye.
Good deal. So moved. All right. Next item is the review of the insurance and event fee for Patterson Square, which Cynthia provided to us. So if you had the opportunity to review over those documents there, as far as the recommendations for the insurance, I don't know, Cynthia, if you want to speak to that.
Sure. Yeah, I can give a summary. So this was as follow-up to our November meeting where we discussed both insurance and then the fee for the use of the square. So when Magdalena was here, we did a little bit of research, and I'll address the insurance first. So we've had some issues where people haven't had insurance or it's difficult to get it. So we're recommending for a one-time event, if on a case-by-case basis, that people could go to Wilcox and Reynolds to get to be an additional insured on our insurance. And we've already done that now twice with the Broadbin Vintage Flea Market. So it was only $82 or 80, closer to 81, sorry, to do that. And that seems not unreasonable to ask people to do that. And then the other option is this program through Kerma, which is the town's insurance provider. And they have this new program called Gather Guard Special Event Coverage. And that's for larger events. And so that's also on a case-by-case basis. So you basically apply and see if you're eligible, and you can be covered under that process. And that is for larger events like festivals and things like that, if people wanted to have a dance party. So I attached that information here as well. The one sort of outlier is continuing to work with Emily at the Ballard, because they don't seem to be covered under School of Fine Arts insurance. We have co-hosted the puppet series in the summer with them, so that they're under our insurance that we have with Wilcox and Reynolds for events. Which, we can continue to do. We just need to be clear with Wilcox and Reynolds how many actual events we're talking about.
Can I ask a question? Why the Ballard Museum is a separate entity from UConn?
Yes, and we've been discussing this for a while with UConn, so it's very strange because they're not their own nonprofit either. So they're sort of this weird, I don't know how to describe it, but just in a strange situation where they are not under the school's insurance. So I want to pursue that with Emily more, because, maybe we can take a fresh look at this.
As far as the, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I was thinking, that Gather Guard insurance looked pretty cool. But do they quantify large events as far as, the number, what constitutes a large event? Is it more than 25 people? Is it the type of event being held? I mean, they list there.
Well, it's generally more, I think, the type of event. So it's one of those things, Mario, where you have to actually go through the process and somebody reviews it. So they lay out, if you see on the second page, kind of the general things they would do, like weddings, birthday parties, concerts, but you have to go through their application process. They unfortunately don't give you a whole heck of a lot more than that.
I was gonna say, any indication as to what that timeline process looks like as far as like
It's
somebody
pretty quick.
interested?
Yeah,
it?
when Maria and I spoke with them on the phone, I think it's a pretty quick turnaround.
Oh, cool.
So for all I know, it's AI that's deciding. I don't know. I shouldn't say that, but after having seen some of these different things, you don't know. But anyway, I think it's another good alternative that Maria knew about. So I appreciate her bringing that to our attention.
No, it's cool.
Is there
And
any
as far as the-
downside to adding people to your insurance, downtown partnership insurance?
The
On a
big
case
downside is the cost.
Uh-huh.
So when we ask Wilcox and Reynolds, and then every 3 years we have to do kind of a request for a bid, so to speak. We tell them how many events we're gonna have. So these are our annual events, like the festival, et cetera. So when we deviate from that, they have to relook at that in terms of the cost. So they might charge us an additional $81 or whatever it might be. So it is a cost to us. So it needs to be within our budget.
And do we have a line item in our budget for purposes like that?
Well, we have 3 sets of insurance. So one
Yep.
set is property insurance, and that's where the events are covered.
Got it. Cool. And then as far as the fees, you mentioned in the.
Yeah, so I kind of commingled this. I realize now that I'm looking back at this memo, but maybe first I'll just talk about, so we do have a line item in the operating budget of about $9,000 for events if we need that. And so my suggestion was if somebody says they can't afford the $81, that on a kind of first come, first served, that we would cover that for them out of that line item budget. So it wouldn't come out of our insurance, but it would come out of our events. So I should have put that in the insurance category, I think. The fees for the square, so I think we talked about it at the last meeting. So Shamim, I don't think you were on the board then, but maybe you were. We had, an extensive conversation about how much we should charge people to use the square. And people wanted to start with the $10. And so at our last finance committee meeting, we talked about, trying to up that. And so I am suggesting it be $50 because that equates to about 2 hours of an event coordinator's time based on his or her salary. And with Magdalena being gone, I worked on 2 this weekend, and it's not a heavy lift, but we have forms and we have to talk about the insurance and we have to go over parking passes. You'd be amazed about, it does take about an hour and a half, 2 hours to kind of get everything in order. So I don't think it's unreasonable, but, I would suggest that if you all agree that we would, update our reservation form to say $50. I don't think it's in any other documents. And Ryan, I put here that we could share that with Maria because there is a policy on the use of the square, but I don't think the fee is, to give us flexibility, we probably didn't put the actual $10 in there. And then, so, we could have a recommendation. I think the only real recommendation would be to raise the application fee to X amount, if you all think 50 makes sense or it's something else.
I think that 50 would be definitely more than sufficient. The question I have is for those individuals who don't or can't afford insurance, what kind of event would they be hosting as far as that ability, and how would we go about, deciding whether this group or that group is saying to us that, they want to hold an event, what kind of event would be that they wouldn't be able to come up with the funds themselves for the insurance?
Well, we have had musicians that, like individual musicians, where that's been an issue before. So that's probably a good example. I know that Steve, if you look under, the eligibility. So I remember I don't remember, at the last meeting, he said that he thinks that these definitely, one piece of criteria would be it needs to be for the general public. So
Right.
for instance, I just got a call from a guy who said he wants to have a casual event on the square. And I called him back and he didn't answer, so I don't know what a casual event is yet, so that would be the kind of thing, like if he's doing a sort of private birthday party thing, then that's something that we probably would we would say that that's something that you would need to get your own insurance for. I
Mhm.
mean, we've had people table events out there, and because that's a pretty innocuous event, we haven't really gone above and beyond what we have done in terms of insurance. We actually are gonna have the Girl Scouts out there. They actually have insurance. But if somebody's just out there for like 2 hours, you know, we're not getting too anxious about that. I guess that's the way to put it.
So we don't generally stipulate any type of criteria as to the types of event that can be held.
We do have the type of event that can be held in the town square policy. So we do allow fundraising for nonprofits. So in other words, like the Girl Scouts. So we do have some criteria on the type of events. Mainly for the fundraising. I'm trying to remember. Let me see if I can find it quickly. Yeah, I think we tried to be careful to not be
Discriminate
too
against any-
directive, yeah, because you don't know what's gonna happen. Like we say, fundraising will be allowed at specific locations for nonprofit organizations and government sponsored organizations, e.g. schools, or as otherwise authorized by law. So I remember that board discussion was, you know, we just don't want everybody out there and their friends just
Right.
raising for anything. I think that's probably, you know, we do talk about. I'm just trying to see if there's anything in here that's relevant, like no overnight camping or sleeping, that kind of thing. And then we have a whole separate policy on the use of alcohol, if you're gonna have alcohol in an event, that kind of thing. And the main purpose for the fee is just to evaluate whether it can be staffed, whether there's another event going on. We've had that happen before to make sure that, not that they both showed up, that's why they
Oh.
came to us. So it's like, well, no, the Girl Scouts are there, you can't be there that day. And of
Mhm.
course, we have random people that just go out there and do whatever they want. So, you know, what can you do? You know?
Oh, all right.
Cynthia, am I reading this right? You're saying that the fee, there's a reference in here to the fee being waived if they need insurance. So we only charge this for events that don't require the insurance?
So if they needed to, so this is sort of a
Right.
executive
Yeah.
decision or thought that if they already need to pay for the insurance, let's not charge them
Don't hit
for
them up twice, yeah,
$10. Yeah,
okay.
that was the thinking.
Got it.
Any other questions?
Cynthia, right now, are you looking for a motion on this, or
motion?
is this by consensus and
Whatever the committee feels. We can certainly, I mean, there's 3 and we have 5 members, so there's a quorum if you wanted to do a official motion.
So as to increase the
Oh,
fee.
Shamim, you're muted. Sorry, Mario.
I can make a motion to raise the insurance fees. Is that what you
Not the
want?
insurance fees, it's the fee to process the application to use the
The
square.
processing fee for the application. There it is. Okay.
the
Yep.
one that goes from 10 to 50?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, I'm cool.
Go for it, Shamim.
So
Okay.
you got it.
So did I just make a motion?
Not exactly, but
You promised to make one.
Okay, let me make a
You
motion. Let me
started.
You signaled an intent.
raise the fee for the use of the square. Do you want the specific amount? $50,
Yes.
$250.
Yeah, from 10 to 50.
perfect.
I'll second
The
that.
joint motion.
Yeah. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Ryan seconds.
I
Sweet. We all agree? Perfect.
nailed it.
We can send that to the board.
Will do.
All right, cool. Moving on, update on downtown store strategic action plan in downtown stores. Do I have that?
Yeah, so I can just a couple of quick things. So we haven't heard anything official, but I think Huskies is looking to open the end of this month as a soft opening, so you know how things go with construction and materials and all getting stuff
Have
in.
you been able to check it out?
I
the
have,
progress?
Kathleen has, actually, I have peered in the windows. So, I think they're hoping. So Kyle and I were supposed to meet with them for lunch on Monday, but with the whole, tournament going, they have a lot of catering that they're doing, for the women's tournament. So we are supposed to have lunch on the 1st.
Cynthia, do you anticipate more security needs when that opens?
I'll only say that Ryan and I have had that discussion in terms of, just being aware of what's going on, and certainly Sergeant Merrill's aware of that. I don't know, Ryan, if you want to.
Yeah, just that, yeah, the Sergeant Merrill and our resident troopers certainly are very aware. They've been in, I think, regular communication, had a number of their own meetings with the owner operators. It's a pair of fellows that are both UConn grads, is that right?
Yes.
And I guess, suffice it to say, I think, police are wired a certain way to assume not so good outcomes, which is probably an occupational reality for them. So I appreciate that. I think they're going into this with, expectations of, we'll call them challenges, and they certainly are mindful of that and will be monitoring it closely. I think for the owner's part, they've been saying the sorts of things we would hope they would say about being very mindful of the sort of atmosphere, I guess, that they're trying to create and what they're trying to essentially not create. They obviously want to be their own place, but they brought up, I think, Square Peg a couple of times in terms of like the atmosphere there and the sort of vibe, and it feels very like under control, I guess, so like they're talking about like that's the way they're envisioning this establishment, despite the fact that they are also aware that many people are assuming that it's going to be a different sort of atmosphere there. So I like the way the vision they're painting. I guess we'll see what happens when they open later this month, and we'll adjust course or address as needed.
Yeah, so you might have seen, Shamim, so we are having our annual meeting there on June 27th. So we're excited about that. They're gonna have a full menu. Again, they'll ease into things, but that's the plan.
When did you say their soft opening was scheduled for?
Well, it's not definite, hopefully by the end of the month.
Okay.
So, fingers crossed.
Hence the soft, yeah. Soft and squishy.
Right.
Good moment.
The other thing is you should have also, as members, received our event calendar.
Yeah.
For the year, and I know we've talked about that with Brian and Mario at the board meetings, but our first event's May 30th, Summer Stroll. And the only really, I guess, significant change is cutting out the movies because of not having our event coordinator, and that event it's a great event, but it hasn't grown a lot, so we'll keep evaluating that event. The umbrella sets are waiting to go out on the square. I'm waiting for the furniture. So this was part of the Promotion Public Spaces Working Group, trying to get more furniture out there. So I am waiting for the shipment to come in from Florida on the tables and chairs, and I'm hoping by the end of this week, beginning of next week.
They're going to
So
be
we will-
secured
we
and
will
they're in
push.
place.
We will put those out after the NCAA tournament is over.
Oh, good.
Good move.
Good move.
So, yeah, the furniture, will probably be the chairs will be a little bit lighter than what we have out there, but easier to move around. Some of those chairs are pretty heavy. So we'll just hope that people respect it like they have for the most part for the red tables and chairs. Time will tell, I guess, but I think people enjoy it a lot, and it's something I think that hopefully will stand the test of time, at least for a while. This is definitely an upgrade in terms of quality of the furniture.
You have a blueprint as to placement?
No, we'll probably just scatter them around like we normally do and put some near the umbrellas, and we really want to get that shade taken care of because it just it can get pretty hot out there.
Mm.
So we hope this, and they look in the box, they look pretty big. So I'm hoping they'll definitely help.
And did you say they were gonna be secured to the floor in
No.
case of like the
Well,
elements? Like,
no, the tables and chairs won't, the umbrellas will be difficult to move, let's put it that way. It's not impossible, but they will be pretty secure.
so
So,
what would be the plan if we were expecting some pretty intense weather?
well, they have promised it. We've talked, that's a good question, Mario, because we asked them that, and they seem to indicate that they would withstand a lot, but we probably will have Public Works take them in during the winter. I'm trying to think if there's anything else business
When do you think those will
wise.
be put out?
I want to put them out like kind of make it a big thing, an event.
Mhm.
So based on the basketball schedule and when we get the tables and chairs, as soon as we can, I can get some time for Public Works to put them out. They know that they're coming. They've been very aware of it, so. Hopefully as soon as possible. I should say, they did put out some red tables and chairs after the weather got nice last week. So there are some out there, not our full contingent, just based on the fact that they may need to bring them back in. So,
Right. Cool. Yeah, looking forward to seeing them.
yeah, I think you'll be pleased. We checked them out with the working group. People sat in them, yeah, so. We have several samples that are still hanging around.
Cool. All right. Anything else on that aspect? Are we ready to move on to the financials?
Yeah, and yeah, the financials are just really more for Shamim because they went directly to the board last time because we canceled our last meeting. So it's not a situation where the committee needs to approve them, but I'm happy to answer any questions that Shamim might have, or Mario or Ryan, but this did go to the last board. They did go to the last board meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all set for now.
Okay.
As far as the programs for the events being held, you mentioned the movies were going to be dropped this year.
Yes.
Okay.
We were planning 2 instead of 3, and we were trying to kind of look at maybe one as a kids and one as more of adult and try to make it into a night out. So we still have some good ideas about how to maybe restructure that program. It's just, and it's not a heavy lift, but it is, all our events are labor intensive.
Right. Yeah,
You
there's
know,
a
for
lot of work
anybody,
that
it's
goes
not
into
just a
it.
partnership. Yeah, and being down a staff person, we just decided that that was the best course of action.
Wait, did I miss something? Has Magdalena left?
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes, she did, unfortunately.
You
Oh,
interested,
that's too
Shamim?
bad.
Yep.
You
So,
interested? Part-time?
oh,
I
Shamim?
missed that one.
Yeah. Mario wants you to work part-time for us as the event coordinator.
Oh, she's thinking.
I know,
No.
she didn't laugh that hard.
No. I've got a full plate.
I'm
Yeah.
sure you do.
Cool. All right. I have no questions on the financials. I mean, they're pretty much
No.
as they say, black and white. As far as the revenues and the increase in that, definitely have a hefty balance. I know we mentioned last time as far as looking at ways of increasing that, given the current rate environment.
Yeah, I mean that, you know, I think Ryan has said that the town investment policy is kind of
Oh, is that right?
in the
Yeah.
back burner. We were trying to mirror kind of what the town was doing. You know, we've been talking about this for a while now.
I just started to, in recent weeks, actually engage our finance director on this. So maybe one of those things, once the dust settles on town meeting or something, we can get something on the calendar.
All right. Do we need a motion to approve those financials at all?
No, because the
These were
board,
approved or already went to the.
Got it. Understood. Well, that was a really quick meeting, I gotta say. Did we do that better than Tony? Or what? Tony wasn't here to ask many questions,
It's a
sorry.
good model to follow for town council meetings. I'll put in a
Brevity.
special
Brevity is
request.
good.
All right. Awesome.
Shall I make a motion to adjourn?
I would definitely ask that if you could, that would be great.
Okay. I make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. It's great seeing everybody.
Thanks.
Thanks, all.
thank you. Thanks, Mario, for chairing.
Anytime. Take care, y'all.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye. Have a
Bye-bye.
good night.